John Young, advisor. John Young, circa 1742, December 17, 1835, was a British subject who became an important military advisor to Kamehameha I during the formation of the Kingdom of Hawaii. He was left behind by Simon Metcalfe, captain of the American ship Eleanora, and along with the Welshman Isaac Davis became a friend and advisor to Kamehameha. He brought knowledge of the Western world, including naval and land battle strategies, to Kamehameha, and became a strong voice on affairs of state for the Hawaiian kingdom. He played a big role during Hawaii's first contacts with the European powers. He spent the rest of his life in Hawaii. Between 1802 to 1812, John Young ruled as royal governor of Hawaii Island while King Kamehameha was away on other islands. He organized the construction of the fort at Honolulu Harbor. The Hawaiians gave him the name Alohana based on Young's typical command all hands, on deck. Life. According to his tombstone, he was born in 1742 in Crosby, Lancashire, England. Other sources give his birth as March 17, 1744. His father was Robert Young, also from Crosby, and mother Grace. He had two brothers, Peter and James. 39 to 41. The Youngs were of Scottish descent. After his death, two families from Massachusetts and Connecticut claimed that Young was American and a member of their family, but all contemporary sources seem to indicate he was British. Young served as boatswain on the Eleanora, an American ship captained by Simon Metcalfe, engaged in the maritime fur trade between the Pacific Northwest and China. Sailing from Cape Cod in 1789, the Eleanora put in at Kealakekua Bay on the island of Hawaii in February 1790. In March, Young went ashore to investigate the disappearance of the Eleanora's companion ship, the Fair American, under Thomas Humphrey Metcalfe, and he was detained because Kamehameha did not want Metcalfe to learn that his own forces had attacked her. Metcalfe waited for 2 days, but eventually sailed without Young. It was there that he met Isaac Davis, a Welshman who was the only surviving member of Fair American's crew. In battles such as the Battle of Nuuanu, when the army of Kamehameha conquered Oahu, Young had charge of the cannon. He is credited with firing the shot that put an end to Kaiana, who had seceded from the invading army en route and joined Kalaniʻakupuʻu, king of Oahu and Maui. At the close of this contest, when Kamehameha was called back to Hawaii Island to suppress the rebellion of Namakia, Young was left on Oahu to adjust the new regime's affairs, then with a number of foreigners who also joined Kamehameha at Hawaii Island. Beginning about 1800 or 1802, he was appointed as the royal governor of Hawaii Island after Chief Makuia, whom Kamehameha had picked, was murdered by a rival. This included his superintendency of tax gatherings when he returned to Kauai. Young acted as interpreter for many English-speaking visitors, and sowed the seeds of Christianity in Hawaii. When Captain Vancouver visited the island during the Vancouver expedition in 1793, he offered to take Young and Davis back to Britain. But they were already content with their island life and refused the offer. Naturalist Archibald Menzies left seeds and plants such as citrus fruit in his care. He helped mediate a treaty with Britain in 1794, and coordinated the building of the first large European-style ships. In 1803, Richard Cleveland, of the American ship Lelia Byrd, left a mare with foal with Young in Kauai. This was the first horse ever seen in the islands, and led eventually to the establishment of Parker Ranch. He took the first horses and cattle to Honolulu in 1809. Young lived near Kealakekua Bay probably until about 1819, when Kamehameha I died. Young built the first European-style house on the island of Hawaii, and its ruins are still to be seen at the Pu'ukoho'aheau National Historic Site near the town of Kauai. It was made of stone and Young had no tools but a hatchet and a wooden trowel. He made the door with a hatchet, hewing it out of a koa tree slab. He whitewashed the house with lime made from white coral fished from the sea. Lucy Goodale Thurston, in her story of her life as a missionary in Hawaii, described Young. He was one of the few close friends to be at Kamehameha's side when he died in 1819 at Kamakainu. Family. After the wars, Young returned to Kauai on the Big Island and expanded his compound, including building a small European-style fort. There he and wives raised a family and entertained both Hawaiian and Western visitors. His first marriage, in 1795, was to the chiefess Namoku'elua of Oahu aristocracy. Their son, James Kaneoa, was an influential member of the court of Kamehameha II. On the king's 1823 visit to England, Kaneoa was entrusted with the official letters of introduction and served as translator. Kamehameha II, his queen and 3 other chiefs contracted measles and died abroad. Another son was Robert Young, who was born in 1796, sent to school in America, fought for the American side in the War of 1812 and disappeared. About 1805, Kamehameha's niece, Kawanaiha, his favorite brother's daughter, became Young's second wife. This marriage brought him increased recognition and prestige. 4 children were born to John Young's second marriage. Fanny Kakaleokalani, his eldest daughter, married George Naya and gave birth to a daughter, Emma, who would later marry King Kamehameha IV. Grace Kamaikuai Young married Thomas Charles Bidrook and adopted her niece Emma. John Kalepehala Young Jr., known as Keoniana, married Alapai and would become one of the only 2 males to hold the title of Kuina Nui. Jane Lahilahi Young married Joshua Ka'eo and gave birth to Peter Ka'eo, a member of the House of Nobles. Jane also mothered an illegitimate son by Kamehameha III, Albert Kunuyakia, who might be the last direct descendant of Kamehameha. His line is believed to have gone extinct. In 1810, Young adopted his murdered companion Isaac Davis's children. They were Sally, 13 years of age, George, 2 or 10 years old, and Betty, 7 years of age. Family tree. Death. During an illness in December 1835, his daughter Grace sent a ship to collect him and his wife Kawanaiha. She transported them from Kauaihae on the Big Island to Honolulu, so Rook could administer a heart medication and keep him under observation. He insisted on bringing his own coffin with him. "When I die, I don't want to leave any question about how I wished my body to be treated," he said. Fear of being murdered and having his body treated for burial in the old traditions, with the chiefs taking his bones to make icons or fish hooks, plagued his painful days and nights. 2 weeks after his arrival on Oahu, Young died at Rook House in Honolulu on December 17, 1835, at the age of 93 after living in Hawaii for 46 years. Grace sent for the family while the Oahu chiefs planned his funeral. His lands were divided among his children and the children of Isaac Davis, whom he had adopted. He was interred in the cemetery adjacent to the Little Coral Mausoleum, called Pohukaina, on the Iolani Palace ground, on December 18, 1835. Later he was removed to the Royal Mausoleum of Hawaii at Mauna'ala on May 16, 1866. 159 At the Royal Mausoleum, on a flat, gray stone which covers his grave, is the following inscription: